Hey everyone, with the beta for Classic Wrath of the Lich King running for a few days now, I've had the chance to be invited and I managed to sink in a few hours into it. I made it to level 73 so far, and throughout my journey in Northrend, I managed to explore a lot of different places, some of which are accessible and some others which aren't meant to be accessible yet. And I discovered a lot of weird, unexpected stuff that isn't supposed to be in the game at launch. So I took this chance to document everything I discovered and compiled it into this video. Naturally, this is a beta, and not only that, this is week 1 of the beta, meaning a lot of stuff is still under development. Everything mentioned here could change between now and release, but still, it's fun to have a look and speculate whether these things are intended or not. So without further ado, here's 8 unexpected things that I found on the Wrath beta. Let's get into it. So to start with, the first and most unexpected thing, for me at least, which I think will grab a lot of people by surprise, is how slow leveling through Northrend actually is. And I know what you may be thinking, I just don't know how to level fast. That's fair and true to an extent. But in my defense, I had the Zygor add-on guide opened on a retail client on my second monitor while I was leveling, meaning I knew the most optimal route to take, which is already way less than most players will be doing. And yet, even then, I was averaging around 4 hours per level, and that's in the early levels. Mind you, this is doing questing, which is thought to be the better method of leveling in Wrath. Dungeons are apparently pretty slow, so dungeon leveling isn't going to be as good of a method as opposed to how it was in TBC. And yet, even while doing the quote-unquote better method, leveling was still pretty slow here. Naturally, keep in mind this is my first character. Subsequent characters in Wrath have the luxury to get flying right from level 68, thanks to the bound on account flying tome you can trade to your alts, or by allowing them to wear heirlooms, which will provide them with a lot of bonus experience gains. But yeah, with all things considered, it seems like leveling from 70 to 80 on your first character is going to take a big time investment as opposed to TBC. Another reason for this, and this is number 2 on the unexpected things found on the beta, this also had to do with the fact that the in-game quest helper is not present on the Classic Wrath beta. Indeed, this feature was made available in patch 3.3, and it made questing considerably faster by simply showing you right away where to go on your map. It even tracked how many mobs you killed or how many items you collected and showed that to you on the tooltips. Very useful. But yeah, that's apparently not in the game yet. Or maybe it will not be added until phase 5 or whatever the equivalent of patch 3.3 is. People are speculated that that's because this feature was actually not in the game from the start of original Wrath, and thus the game wasn't really designed to have it right from the beginning. Personally, I think this is just work in progress and we should see this being added before release. At least I hope so. It's a very useful feature and there's really no reason to not have it right away. Speaking of features, here's an actual new feature that we weren't expecting to see. This is very minor, but on your talent tree you can now see this icon and you can change it to reflect which role the selected spec will cover. I expect this to be added to help with the new dungeon finder that Blizzard talked about to make it easier for people to know which spec you are. Or maybe the goal of this is different, who knows. Either way, there you go, small new addition. Moving on, let's now move to Dalaran, because Dalaran has a lot of really weird and wonky unexpected stuff in it that isn't supposed to be in the game quite yet. Or maybe it is supposed to be. Who knows what developers want to do with these things. The best example for this is the NPC Frozo the Renowned. So, this guy was not only added in the last patch of the game, but it was added in the first to last minor patch of the game, patch 3.3.3. This guy sold a bunch of useful reagents which you're supposed to farm, but in exchange for frozen orbs, which is a reagent you get from the last boss of each heroic dungeon, sort of like Primal Nether from TBC if you know that. But on the beta, not only is he not supposed to be in the game yet, not for a long time at least, but the state this NPC is on right now really makes you want to scratch your head in confusion, because he sells all the normal stuff he's supposed to sell except the frosty flying carpet, a tailoring craftable mount which was added to the game along with this NPC, and he used to sell the pattern for it. So it's as if a Blizzard dev saw this NPC, looked at all the wonky stuff he's selling like ruined orbs and crusader orbs, which are items from Ulduar and TOC, but nah, that's fine. But that mount pattern please remove that. It's really confusing. Either way, this guy should and probably will be removed before release. Otherwise, he's gonna create some really weird interactions. Next up, and to stay in Dalaran, we have a few glyphs that aren't supposed to be in yet. Glyph of Elemental Water, Glyph of Rapid Rejuve, and Glyph of Quick Decay. The first two have their niches here and there, but the most noteworthy one here is Quick Decay, because this became a super strong glyph to have as a warlock when it was added in patch 3.3, because it made your haste effect and lowered the time between your corruption debuff ticks. And as you know, debuff ticks in Wrath can also trigger trinkets, tier set bonuses, and all sorts of talents. This means more procs of basically everything. You may think this isn't going to be that good early in Wrath because you won't have as much haste as later in the game, but that's not the case. Even early on, this glyph will still give a very significant DPS increase. And as you know, Affliction locks are amongst the strongest DPS in the game early in Wrath. You'll often see raids stacking a lot of them, and this glyph, I'm afraid, is only going to make them even stronger. Now, is this going to be removed before release and added later on? I doubt it personally, because Blizzard already expressed time and again since the beginning of Classic that they want to keep the last version of every class as it was in the final patch for the whole duration of the expansion, because that's usually the most polished version of that class. But again, this is only a glyph, so who knows? Maybe they will remove it, only time will tell. Moving on, still in Dalaran, we have something that I really wish will be kept in the game from the start, the Engineering Auctionhouse. Indeed, this is on the beta right now, and originally it was only added in patch 3.2, the Trial of the Crusader patch. This basically allowed any engineer at or over level 350 to get access to their faction's auction house without having to move to their capital city. Very useful quality of life. Again, I really wish they keep this in the game, but again, who knows what their intent is. Maybe they already looked at this and decided to keep it in, or maybe they will remove it later. In the TBC beta, for example, they had an NPC that teleports you to Caverns of Time, but they removed it before release for some reason. And yet, they kept the other most game-affecting NPC, the Badge of Justice daily NPC, in the game, which was just a few meters from there. So it's really hard to tell what their intent is. Either way, if you're watching this, please leave this one in, Blizzard. Speaking of heroic dailies, it seems like these will be in the game because the NPCs Archmage Timar and Archmage Landalock are hanging in Dalaran as they did in original Wrath until patch 3.3. This is to be expected, to be honest, because these dailies were the bread and butter of doing heroics back in Wrath. And there was even an achievement called Timar Foresees, which was turned into a feat of strength once this NPC was removed, and it had you complete all the dailies he gave. After patch 3.3, Timar gave no more dailies, and Landalock stopped giving dungeon dailies, and instead started giving weekly quests for killing certain bosses in ICC or TOC. Either way, those NPCs are on their original state, and they should allow you to get a bunch of badges pretty quick to gear up nice and fast when Wrath releases. Alright, finally, we get to move on from Dalaran. There's still a lot of stuff to discover and talk about there, like why the hell is the ICC gear still on the NPCs, but that's for another video. For now, let's move back to Azeroth, specifically in Dustwallow Marsh, because here, there's a certain raid which we all know and love, but there's something weird with it here. I'm obviously talking about Onyxia's Lair. So as you know, Onyxia's Lair from the start of Vanilla till midway through Wrath was a level 60 40-man raid. But in patch 3.2.2, on WoW's 5th anniversary event, Blizzard decided to turn it into a level 80 raid with both 10 and 25-man modes available. Before that, players could still fight level 60 Onyxia like they always did. I think you know where I'm going with this. Onyxia's Lair, as it stands on the beta right now, is on its level 80 version. Now, to be fair, there isn't anything that goes away once this raid turned into a level 80 raid, unlike original Naxxramas. All the original items are still obtainable from her. Their stats are simply updated to level 80. Even the bow Roc de Lar is still obtainable because you can farm the Black Sinew from the mobs outside the raid. So even if Blizzard decides to release level 80 Onyxia from the start of the game, we're not losing anything. This will, however, have an impact on the power level of our characters, because on patch 3.2, we were on the Trial of the Crusader raid, and the items Onyxia drop do reflect that. They're pretty powerful and not to be made available from the start of the game, because if you obtain that obsidian edged blade, you might not replace it for a very, very long time as a warrior or DK. So yeah, because of that, I think it's unlikely Onyxia will be updated until phase 3 or 4, whatever that phase is, and we should see Blizzard reverting it to the old version before the game releases. Otherwise, yeah, most of your best items will come from there and you won't replace them for a very long time. Lastly on our list, we have something that wasn't in the game originally, is in the game now on the beta, and should remain in the game for a lot of reasons. The portable hole from Harris Pilton. This is a 24 slot bag that costs a whopping 3,000 gold and that you can buy from this NPC in Shattered City. And originally, it wasn't made available until patch 3.3, the ICC patch. Now, I don't think Blizzard even noticed this, but in my opinion, this should really stay in the game for one important reason: solving the inflation. The Isle of Caldenas, I feel like, really made a lot of damage to the economy by injecting a lot of gold in it, reducing the value of gold and making everything more expensive as a result. We even made a video on how you can easily make 10,000 gold per week doing only dailies. This bag, along with all the other gold sinks in Rat, will definitely help reverting the inflation, and Rat really had a lot of gold sinks in it, be it the jewel specialization, the flying skill, the whopping 80k gold 2-seater mount, and now hopefully this bag too. I do have hopes that gold is definitely gonna increase in value throughout Wrath. But that's about everything I discovered so far on the beta. As I said, I'm still level 73 and I only played for a few hours on the beta. I'm sure there's still a ton of weird, unexpected stuff to discover in Classic Wrath, and I'll definitely be doing more follow-up videos like these in the future. So if you know anything like this, please drop it in the comments, and if you don't want to miss these videos in the future, you know what to do. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the Classic WoW Curios channel for more content like this. My name is Nimidia, and I will see you guys in the next one very soon. Bye for now.